We like to think we've got etiquette handled. No slurping, no shouting, no elbows on the table. But here's the twist. Real etiquette mistakes don't always look rude. In fact, they often look polished, pleasant, even refined. And that's exactly why they're dangerous. Because the most surprising etiquette mistakes are the ones elegant people make without realizing it, with good intentions. So let's pull back the silk curtain and expose 11 subtle etiquette missteps that quietly sabotage even the most polished among us. Let's begin. Number 1. Overusing people's names. We've all heard the advice, use someone's name. It builds connection. And yes, once or twice? Lovely. But when every sentence sounds like a performance review? I agree with you, Angela. That's such a great point, Angela. You're so right, Angela. Now Angela wants to disappear. True elegance doesn't over-personalize like a chatty CRM system. Use the name, then move on. Number 2. Asking someone else to call the waiter. You've probably done this. I have. You're at a restaurant, chatting, sipping, and then you decide it's time. You're ready to pay. But instead of catching the waiter's eye yourself, you ask your dinner partner, can you flag them down? I think they're facing your way. It feels subtle, efficient, but really it says, I want this handled, but not by me. Here's how to handle it gracefully. Making eye contact. A quiet gesture. A polite word. No drama. No delegation. Just quiet capability. Number 3. Narrating your manners. Some people treat their good behavior like a guided tour. They place their napkin, lean back with a knowing smile, and casually drop. Manners are just so important to me. And suddenly, what could have felt natural now feels rehearsed. Because here's the mistake. When someone constantly points out their refinement, it stops feeling refined. Number 4. Making weird small talk. This actually happened to me last week. A man who signs my monthly reports called for some professional advice. The call was perfectly normal, straightforward, polite, efficient. And then, just as we were wrapping up, he tried to end things on a friendly note. So, he said, are you still enjoying maternity leave? Maternity leave. My child is in school. I haven't been on maternity leave in years. I wasn't sure whether to laugh, correct him, or check if I'd accidentally added a lullaby to my email signature. That's the danger of small talk that's too casual or too outdated. It feels like connection, but it actually creates distance. Classy people often mean well, but when they reach for warmth and grab the wrong detail, it just feels off. Elegant conversation doesn't need to be clever. It just needs to be current. Number 5. Overcorrecting someone's etiquette mistake. You're at dinner. Someone reaches for the wrong bread plate. They've got the confidence of a seasoned traveler and the wrong roll in their hand. And then, someone across the table can't help themselves. They gently clear their throat, tilt their head, and say, oh, sorry, I think that's mine. The table freezes. The bread is returned like contraband, and the rest of the evening feels ever so slightly tense. Here's the mistake. Classy people sometimes forget that etiquette isn't about proving you know the rules. It's about making sure no one else feels like they've broken them. True refinement isn't in correcting others. It's in protecting them. From awkwardness, from embarrassment, from having to give back a perfectly good piece of sourdough. Number 6. Starting conversations with, actually, energy. Some people have perfect posture, polished shoes, and the kind of voice that sounds like it reads hardbacks for fun. They seem elegant, until they open a conversation with a sentence that starts like this. Actually, what most people don't realize is, it doesn't matter what comes next. They've already signaled it's not a conversation, it's a correction. You're not here to connect. You're here to be informed. The problem? Even polished people can confuse being well-informed with being well-received. And that gentle, actually, lands like a silk-gloved slap. Number 7. Turning kindness into a power play. They brought you a candle. You responded with a curated gift box, rare tea, a silk sleep mask, and a handwritten poem. That's not gratitude. That's escalation. Here's the thing. Classy people sometimes mistake more for better. But when every kind gesture comes with upgrades and extras, it stops feeling gracious. True elegance doesn't try to impress with generosity. It gives without keeping score. And it accepts gifts without needing to win or escalate. Number 8. Insisting on someone's title when they've let it go. It usually starts with good intentions. You're trying to be respectful, formal, proper. Someone introduces themselves as John, but you know he's a doctor, so you keep calling him Dr. John, even after he gently says, please, Just call me John. Now it's awkward, because if someone wants to blend in, and you keep elevating them, you're not being polite, you're singling them out. It's especially off when they're not the only one with a title. There might be other doctors, engineers, or magisters at the table, but they're not wearing name tags. Elegance is knowing when formality fits the moment, and when it's quietly creating distance that no one asked for. Number 9. Overcurating the atmosphere like you're hosting Vogue. A while ago, I was invited to a casual garden grill party, or so I thought. When I arrived, the garden looked like a luxury magazine spread. The table was set like a wedding: linen tablecloth, crystal glassware, perfectly folded napkins. And the grass? Not grown. Installed. That fresh, store-bought, carpet-style turf that looks like it's never seen a shoe. Everyone was afraid to touch anything. We took off our heels so we wouldn't leave marks. It was stunning, but also slightly terrifying. No one relaxed. No one wanted to be the first to smudge the aesthetic. And that's the mistake. Even elegant people can go overboard trying to create beauty. But when the setting takes priority over the people, the atmosphere becomes performance. True class isn't about impressing your guests. It's about making them feel welcome enough to keep their shoes on. Number 10. Hovering after saying goodbye. They say timing is everything, and nowhere is that truer than the moment someone says goodbye, but doesn't actually leave. You've hugged. You've thanked the host. Coats have been retrieved. Everyone's said their final pleasantries. And then, they linger. At the door. By the car. One more anecdote. One more recipe. One more quick thing that somehow takes 10 minutes. It's not rude, but it is relentlessly unfinal. Even elegant people do this, usually because they want to leave on the perfect note. But here's the truth. The most graceful exit is simple, warm, and done. When you say goodbye, go. Don't hover like an emotionally intelligent ghost. Number 11. Asking for Wi-Fi before saying hello. There's arriving, and then there's logging in. You step into someone's home, they smile, they welcome you in, and before they can even finish the sentence, someone chirps, "Hey, what's the Wi-Fi?" No greeting, no comment on the space, not even a "lovely to see you." Straight to the signal. Now, no one's saying you have to go full analog, but when asking for the Wi-Fi is the very first thing out of your mouth, it sends a message. I'd rather be somewhere else, digitally. Even the most polished people forget this. They mean well. They're just being practical. But elegance has its own kind of bandwidth. Refined people connect. With the host, not just the router. At least say hello before refreshing your inbox. So, did any of these hit a little too close to your Hermes gloves? Same. Because elegance isn't about being flawless. It's about being aware. Noticing the ripple effects of our behavior, even when we think no one's watching. Especially then. Be honest. Which of these have you accidentally done before? If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and check out my Amazon storefront for elegant beauty and timeless living essentials. As always, stay classy, manners matters.